Hello folks, and welcome to the weird episode of Jim Rambles On. I want to cover about 4 things today. 2 of them are just incidental observations. I thought they were pretty interesting, so I'll pass them along. And the others are about actual communication, reaching the masses. So anyway, I like to monkey around with shortwave radios, just on the receiving end, And here's an ancient shortwave radio. I was making a sign last night, and here's the guts. I mean, this thing it's ancient, right? Still works though. So I'm listening. I found this oldies station from the 50s, and I mean real oldies, not just a couple surf guitar, tracks from the early 60s. This is stuff from the 50s that, a lot of it I hadn't heard. A few I had. So I'm listening, and shortwave radio, it comes in and it cuts out, and there was a commercial. And I'm pretty sure it was for mobility scooters. And I thought, man, you're listening to oldies radio when they have ads for mobility scooters. Anyway, it's observation number 2. I'm in the house in one room working on a computer. I think I was doing a sales bid or who knows, some office chore. And the young people, what you would call teenagers, are in the next room. And we have a few visitors, lots of cousins and stuff, and a few of them have dropped by for the July 4th holiday. And I can hear them talking in the next room. Normally when people are talking in the next room, I hear, maybe 1 word out of 5 at best, and it just, I don't even try to comprehend what's being said. So this time I got a bit more, and it was something along these lines. This is not verbatim, but it was the young man. I take it the young man walked up to one of the young women and said, "My, your hair looks terrific. It looks so good it would attract Joe Biden." And the girls, in unison, you could hear them all saying, "Oh, that is gross." And the guys start laughing. They're laughing, and cutting up. I thought it was pretty funny too, in its own dark way, But what's interesting is that, to a degree, they've got their finger on the pulse of what's happening there. I don't think they're researched it out. Some of them would know the difference between a Keynesian economic model and like Chicago school or Austrian school. I hardly know the difference myself. But anyway, I digress. So next, we'll get down to some actual communication stuff here. Excuse me. So I have actually put up some signs about the wall. I prefer, what I want to do in the course of these videos is only show you stuff, because I've got a lot of ideas. And it's one thing to say, I've got an idea, or, 40 ideas, or 1,000 ideas. But it's another to show stuff, and that's what I want to do. I want to show you stuff I've done. This, however, I haven't actually done, because I'm wondering about the relevancy of it at the moment. This is regarding the wall. Now, President Trump said he has started the wall. If he has, then it seems like it would be expedient to get weekly or monthly updates, Maybe it's going slower than they wanted to, so that would backfire. I don't really know. I do know that, you have to look at things from more than one angle. You have all these people screaming about, there are more immigrants now than ever before. Well, no kidding, because maybe the people down there realize that, it's being cut off, and it's last-minute dash, So look at things from more than one perspective. Anyway, so rather than just putting up signs, it's good to be creative and have fun. And I think that would show to people. People would pick up on it. They might remember it better. Of course, you have to be careful in advertising. You can have a really slick ad, and 5 minutes later they were entertained by the ad, but 5 minutes later they don't remember who sponsored it. And that's, you always have to be careful about that. But anyway, so you have some cinder blocks. I don't know if they show in the camera range there. You have cinder blocks, and you have to have a pile of them. and a sign that's legible from the road, like say, build Kate's wall, rather than just build the wall. Kate Steinle, I think that's how you say her name, she was killed by an illegal immigrant with a gun in San Francisco, and he was deported, from what I understand, 5 times. He came back and he shot her and probably was acquitted, some de facto, acquittal sort of thing, and that's where that's at. So if you can put somebody's name in it, I think the rhetoric value, the emotional value is better. Anyway, so you got your blocks, you buy the side of the road, you get your hard hat and your trowel, and you have your sign there, with whatever it is, 6-inch letters, build the wall, and rush hour traffic, 2 lanes coming your way, and you're out there pretending you're putting on the layer of mortar, and you put on another brick, and you keep this up, and people would see it, and I think it would be fun. I think it would be memorable and interesting. Now, that was just an idea. Onward to something that actually happened. This is this is interesting. I may have caused a guy to swear out booze. I don't know. So it was Christmas Eve, and I had these signs already made. I had been thinking about going out, and we have this thing about Christmas presents. Now, I never really got into it the whole time we had our family. I didn't want to be burdened with it because my work can get slow in the wintertime, and it's materialism, and I'm certainly not going to go in debt for it. So it was something we just avoided. In fact, I didn't even want Santa Claus type decorations. You want to put up a tree, that's your baby. When I was a kid, in our household, it was like a tourist Christmas thing. We had Christmas, wall-to-wall Christmas, up and down, back and forth, front window, the front lawn, all around the house. We had huge boxes we had to get out of the attic, and this little kid on a rickety ladder, and it was quite a chore. And when I got older, I was just like, no, I'm not into it. But I'm not, going to say, no, you can't do anything. It's fine. Do you want to do it? That's fine. And they started doing it. They started getting each other little gifts, and then they started getting older and earning a little money here and there. Some of them only earned, a couple $100 a year, and they started spending what they had on each other, buying Christmas presents, and it was really neat to see. It was like materialism taking a different turn. They don't have a lot of money, and they're buying each other nice gifts. And so, and the Christmas tree now has gifts around it that they bought each other, and they know what so it's not always bad. Few things in life. Some things in life are black and white. Anyway, so it's a real joy to see them doing that with each other. It's neat. You get older, and you realize that so much of it seemed like it was on your shoulders as a parent. And you get older, and the kids start turning out real neat, better than me, smarter than me, stronger than me, the whole bit. I mean, seriously, that's not hyperbole. Quite a bit smarter, and then you realize it was God. This is God's project. And now my prayer is changing to something like, Lord, let me know when to be in the way and when to be out of the way. But anyway, I digress. So there it was, Christmas Eve, and we have this little tradition. We had it at my house when I was a kid. You can open a small present on Christmas Eve, right? And but the big ones are Christmas morning. So my package was a bag of, people know I like coffee, a bag of Black Rifle coffee. I said, oh man, this is awesome. I'm loving it, right? And so here it is, Christmas Eve, got my signs ready to go. I'm in a Black Rifle mood, yeah. And you do know, right, that George Washington crossed the Delaware on Christmas Eve. It might have been 6 p.m., it might have been 8 p.m., I don't know the exact time. That's when they captured the Hussians. And that was a turning point because it showed foreign powers. I believe it showed foreign powers that we were serious. They crossed, I believe they disassembled a cannon, got it across on little boats and all their men and everything. Now what have you got? Somebody firing up the car without a muffler. So, it's Christmas Eve. Got my signs. I'm ready to do something. And I thought, well, let's have this reenactment. Go do something political. And so there it was. So there I was, 1 o'clock in the morning. People are still up, you know. It might have been midnight. I got back at 1 something, and Uncle James just slips out for a while, and I got my tricorn hat. Right? How does this thing go? Must be like that. Yes. Got my tricorn hat on. Now, as an aside note here, you can see I may have found the fountain of youth. That's right. We can dress up and pretend stuff, you know. And you say what? You'll stick with the internet? Well, okay, it's pretend A versus pretend B. No, the internet's good for some stuff. It's great for some stuff. Just don't get stuck in the echo chamber, you know. So there I was, going out, and it's interesting. It helps you plan things out. Okay, ladder here, you know, tools there, and whatnot. We're going to stop. Do you leave the vehicle running or not? And it gives you some practice on doing things quickly and orderly. Most of the locations I put up signs. This is my, you know, political, historical reenactment, sort of. I don't have my own army, I don't have my own cannons, but hey, you do what you can with what you got, right? And most of the locations are secluded, and it's late, and it's dark, and it's little bits of snow blowing around. And I suppose most people driving down a road, you know, out in the country, more or less out in the country, they wouldn't see, they're looking here, they wouldn't notice, you know, first-class weirdo out there putting up signs. So, the last location was an intersection. And when I got there, nobody was there, but it was lit up. And I said, well, I'm doing this anyway. I don't care. So I get my ladder, and I'm climbing the ladder with the tricorn hat on and the sign. And then some cars pull up, and it's a red light, so they have to pull up and they have to wait. And they're looking. I know they're looking across the intersection, and they're thinking, I'm not seeing what I think I'm seeing. Oh, yes, you are. And so there's a guy with a tricorn hat on putting up signs at 1 o'clock in the morning on Christmas Eve. I went to my sister-in-law's house. What could two shots of peppermint schnapps hurt? You know, that's what I thought. What could have hurt? I tell you, I'm swearing this stuff off. Never touching it again. So, folks, I tell you, this is compounded public service. You know, doing more than one good deed at a time. The real point being, you can be creative. You can have fun. And that's what we need to do. Of course, there is a caveat. Life can't all be fun. I heard once, and it seems quite accurate, the purpose of NATO, North Atlantic Treaty Organization, the purpose of NATO is to, in Europe, is to keep Russia out, America in, and Germany down. Now you think about that in terms of America. You know, who wants to keep Americans down? You know, who's ever watching us and treating us like the enemy? Think about government, what the libertarians say about government. They'll tell you, and it's true, does government produce anything? Has government ever produced a hammer or a locomotive or a turnip or an ear of corn? Government produces force. It's the only thing they can produce. And those people who have that lifetime job, you know, they can't relate to us. You know, the Constitution, the Bill of Rights is a challenge to their job and their authority, and their whole structure, their whole way of thinking. And they don't like us, all right? So Now, so far people have been on top of it, not doing the sort of things, not too much anyway, that they can grab a hold of and they can utilize. They want to. Of course, they killed a bunch of kids, women and kids and people in Waco, and Ruby Ridge was not pretty. But job security, they don't produce anything. They need, in order for job security, they need to have incidents happen, and they actually enhance them. They facilitate these incidents. So watch out for that. It might be best to do stuff during the daytime. Don't get led into a situation where you're doing more than putting up signs, or you could be framed for something else, because that's exactly what they want to do. They're not normal, productive Americans. Their job is government and keeping their job. These are the kind of people you think about. Read about Whitey Bulger and collusion, FBI collusion. Those are the kind of people you're dealing with. So be ye forewarned, be clever, and let's communicate with the masses. I'll see you next time.